So good morning and namaste. My name is Shajan Adolf. I'm Head of Education and Professional Services from Essilor, India, and happy to interact with all of you on one of the most important topics, which is vision and kids. As we know, vision has got a bigger role to play in our day-to-day life. So today, I want to take a little bit of your time to discuss and share some information, some exciting information about the most common challenges which is related with vision care. So this session today is brought to you by Essilor and Germa Wellness. We have been associated with Germa Wellness for a couple of years now, and we're doing some real constructive activities over past couple of years, and we have screened close to 2 lakhs of school going children in India, and I will share the information in the slides which is going to come up very soon. So before I go and discuss more and more about the vision, I would like to play a video now. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, so before we know about what are the challenges kids are having with respect to the vision, we all need to understand that over 87% of information about the external world reaches our brain, our body through the eyes. So among all senses what we have, the most important sense, I must say that it is vision. So at the birth, the babies are not in a position to see well. Over a period of time, couple of months, with the vision started developing, and by the time the kids reach around 6 to 8 years of old, the vision is completely developed, and the kids are in a position to see things much more sharper, better, and all. So vision development over a period of time is very essential for the overall development of babies and kids, as it has got impacts on the all spheres of life. So the moment the kids started stepping into schools, as we know in India, right from the age of 2 or 2.5 years onwards, we put the kids into KGs or the primary schools. So when they walk into the schools, the vision is very, very essential, not only for the educational performances, but also for the recreational activities. Most of the recreational activities, the quality of vision matters a lot. If the baby or the kid wanted to see what is written on the educational performance, if they wanted to see what is written on the blackboard, and if the child is sitting on third or the fourth bench, it requires good quality of vision, good quantity of vision, good contrast sensitivity to decipher what is written on the blackboard with the white chalk. So vision has got a role to play on the education and the recreational activities. The recreational activities, if there is lack of vision or lack of good quality and quantity vision, the kid is not going to enjoy that recreational activity anymore. So we must understand that, yes, getting the eyes checked in due course of time, almost every year, it is very, very essential to identify the vision related challenges and correct and rectify this as soon as possible. So the visual development, which takes over a period of time, which becomes more and more important when the kids walk into the schools. And most of the time it is during the eye screening, which is done in the schools, we identify the vision related challenges in the kids. And that gives us an opportunity to rectify and correct it then and there. So the role of eye checkup or eye screening in schools are very, very important. Uh, let's move to the next slide. So as I told you, we have been doing a lot of eye screening with the JAMA Wellness, and we are extremely happy to be associated with JAMA Wellness in this noble cause of creating vision care awareness and developing better visual hygiene for the kids. When we did this screening recently, out of 76,000 screening, the result says that almost 30% of the kids are having some or other vision related challenges. That means 1 among 3 kids are having a problem which is related with their vision. Now, so this is a very important aspect. As I told you earlier, that vision is going to impact on the career, the education, the recreational activities, and overall development of the kids. So if the kid is not in a position to see things, he is not in a position to interact, involve, indulge in most of the activities. So this is a startling fact that almost 30% of the school going kids are having a challenge which is related with their vision. So it is the right time for us to get the necessary treatment options done and help the child to see the world much, much better. So pediatric vision screening has got an important role to play. Next slide. So let me take you through some more details about the JAMA Wellness screening results. If you see, the common refractive errors are myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, anisometropia, etc. So these are the most common refractive errors. As you know, refractive errors are the second most common causes of visual impairment in the world. Now, if you see the myopia, which what we call as the short-sightedness, if you see over a period of time from pre-primary to primary, secondary and higher secondary schools, among all the refractive errors, you can see there is a steady progress in the prevalence of myopia. That is, from the pre-primary school, the prevalence is 4%. By the time they reach higher secondary schools, it is 18%. So among all the refractive errors, the myopia and the anisometropia are having a steady progress over a period of time. Now, please note that short-sighted is the ability, is the condition where the child is in the position to see only objects which are close to them. That means if the child is sitting on the back bench, he is not in a position to see what is written on the blackboard or what is projected on the screen. So if he can't see, he is not going to do well in the educational performances. So myopia is one of the most common refractive error, and the graph or the study shows there's a significant amount of steady growth which is happening in the myopia segment. Let me explain you a little more about these various refractive conditions in the coming slides. As we discussed about the myopia, myopia is nothing but the short-sightedness, wherein which the kid is not in a position to see things which is far away. The boards of the stores on the other side of the road, or the display boards on the buses, the boards on the letters written on the blackboards, or anything which is far away, which is probably over 3 or 4 meters. He is not in a position to see. He will be able to see only which is very close to his eyes. So this is often corrected by the minus lenses, or we call it as concave lenses with spectacles, contact lenses, and if all eye conditions are okay, and the child is above 18 year, or when they become adults, then we can even go for the refractive surgeries. So myopia is, or short-sighted is one of the leading cause of visual impairment from the refractive error family. The other refractive error is called hypermetropia, or we call it as hyperopia, which is called long-sightedness. In this condition, the kids are in a position to see things which are very far away, and they won't be able to see things which is very close to them. So it is actually opposite to the first condition of myopia. This condition is corrected by plus powers or convex lenses. Now, the third condition is astigmatism, which is a little more complex compared to myopia or hyperopia. In this refractive error, whether it is close vision or far away vision, everything is blurred, whether it is very close to them or very far away them. Everything is looking very blurred. It's a very peculiar refractive condition, though the prevalence is a little less. It is much more complex than the myopia and hyperopia, and it is corrected with the help of special lenses. We call it as a cylinder lenses. Now, among the three conditions at the birth, almost all kids are hyperop, so they will have some plus power into built into their eyes, and over a period of time, the plus power will come down. By the time they reach around 6 or 7 or 8 years of age, they will become immetropes or normal or non-refractive errors. So that's a usual pattern, or that's a time when they develop normalcy in terms of the refractive power of the eye. Some of the other visual conditions are squint. That means one eye is, you can see in the slide, one eye is moving either inside or outside. So the moment you see this kind of a challenges, I think that is the right time for you to take immediate medical attention and take the corrective measures. If you leave things like that, over a period of time, what will happen is that even if you correct that condition, the vision is not going to improve, and we call it as a lazy eye. So right time intervention in all these conditions, whether it's myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, squint, all these conditions, we must intervene and take corrective measures as soon as possible and help the child. Otherwise, the eye will develop what we call as amblyopia or lazy eye. At times, we also see when you look at the kid's eye, you will find white color spots or red color spots or silver color spots in their eyes. In all these conditions, we must take them to the ophthalmologist for a detailed examination and take the corrective measures, because this all indicates there are some underlying pathology or some underlying reasons for this one. So these are the times quickly we need to take the medical attention. Can we move to the next slide? So we discussed about myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, and the other common conditions which challenges the kid's eyes. Among all these three things, myopia or short-sightedness is the most common one, and which is the most prevalent one among kids across the world. So it's a very simple refractive error which can be corrected with the help of some spectacle lenses, single vision lenses. No, it is much beyond that. Myopia is becoming a global epidemic. It has become a global crisis now. So we must start understanding more and more about myopia and help the child to get the myopia treated completely. Let's move to the next slide. So as I told you, myopia is an emerging crisis. It has got impacts on the community. It has got impact on the family and on the individual. And it can have a problem on the global economy, as it can lead to lesser productivity in countries. Because if you can't see things very clearly, you will not be able to get into a productive work. So if you look at the global statistics, in 2018, we had 2 billion myopes. By the time we reach 2030, we will have 1 more billion added into that. So we will have 3 billion people. Now, these things are going to get even worse by the time we reach 2050. Almost half of the world's population, which is 5 billion people, are going to be myope. So every second person is not in a position to see things which is far away. But what it makes even more worse is that out of the 5 billion, 1 billion will be highly myopic. That means the refractive error is going to be over -5 diopter of power. The moment the refractive error, the myopia, grows beyond -5, we call it as high myopia, and high myopia is always associated with a lot of risk. Let's see what are the common risks or what are the dangers behind this myopia. Move to the next. Can we move to the next, Udima? Now, if you see, you need to click once more. If you see it across, how the myopia is spread across the world. If you take the example of the Asian countries, where in which the myopia is much more prevalent, you can see in our country also. The current prevalence of myopia, or it was in 2010, it was only 20%. But by the time when we reach 2050, it is going to be 53 percentage. You can see from the slide. So from 20 percentage, it is going to be in 53 percentage, and India is part of the Asia. And in Asia, 53% of the people are going to be myopic. And some of the other countries, you can see 58% is going to be parents, 54 percentage, 55 percentage, 65 percentage, 55 percentage. So one thing what you can see across the different countries is that over 50% of the population is definitely going to be myopic. Next slide. So who are all of the risk factors, or how can we identify the kids, whether the kid is going to be myopic or not? Because the moment we identify that, we will be able to take the necessary actions. So we must know the risk factors. So the most common risk factors are the age, kids aged between 5 to 9 years, refractive errors. That means when you go for an eye checkup and your optometrist or the ophthalmologist does the refraction and they find there is less plus power. I told you earlier that at the age of 6 to 8 only, they will become normal in terms of their refractive power. And up to that, they will be having little plus power. As and when the eye develops, the plus power will become less than, they'll become neutral by the time they reach 8 to 9 years of age. And in this 5 to 9 years of age, when you go for an eye checkup and you find your kids are having lesser plus power, or there is zero power, or there is a very minimal minus power, that's an indication that the kid is going to develop myopia. The other factors are there is a strong family history, either one of the parents are myope or there are a lot of myopes in the family. That's also a risk factor. And mostly on the ethnicity, we have seen the East Asians are most prone for becoming myopes. There are other schools of thought also. It is also shown in a lot of studies that kids who spend lesser time spending time outdoors are prone for developing myopia. And the kids who spend a lot of time indoor and dealing with near and intermediate work tend to develop myopia much quicker than the other kids. So these are all the risk factors: the age, the refractive error, the family history, the ethnicity, time spent outdoor, and time spent excessively for the near work. So these are the common risk factors for developing myopia. If you look at this slide, you will find that the Asians develop myopia quickly compared to other ethnic groups. And also the progression of myopia. That means the growth of myopia year on year is almost double compared to the Caucasians. So we are all Asians, and in Asia, we find almost 1 diopter of myopia progression every year. Now, this is very important information. So that means that we develop myopia quickly or sooner or much earlier, and the myopia progression is also on the higher side. So what do we do for this one? How can we address this global crisis of myopia? Next slide. So as we know that it's a common practice in India that in order to engage the child, we give our mobile or we give our tablet or any other digital gadgets, and you are happy because the kid is engaged, and the kid is happy because he tend to play on the digital screens and all. So there are a couple of risks associated with this one. The time kids spend more and more with near work has got an impact on their accommodation, and the accommodation, which is the ability for the eye to focus on varying distances, especially when you read or do near work, you need more power. So the eye has an ability to adjust the power that we call as an accommodation. When the kids started spending a lot of time on the near and intermediate work, there is a chance that the kids will have little lesser accommodation. We call it as accommodative lag. Now the kids are having, those who are having accommodative lag will tend to develop myopia a little quicker. There are different schools of thought also towards this one, but we have seen in many studies that accommodative lag is one more reason which initiates the myopia progression. So it is better to restrict the time kids spend on near work, especially with the digital gadgets, which is always held at much closer distance. Let's move to the next slide. So we heard about the myopia progression, and now we need to know the consequences of high myopia. So the moment the child develops a myopia, which is above -5 diopter, there will be a lot of issues, concerns, and consequences on the back side of the eye, which is on the retina. And as you know, retina is the most sensitive layer in the eye, and it is like the film of the camera. It is the area where in which the images are getting focused in the eye. So retina being one of the most sensitive part of the eye, if the retinal cells or the retina gets damaged, it is going to impact the vision uh, very badly. And the saddest thing is that it is very tough to uh, repair the damaged retina. So try to avoid the damage which is related with the myopia as far as possible. So the myopic macular degeneration is directly linked with a visual impairment. Over a period of time, this can lead to much more complications in the eye. Let's move. Next slide. No, go back. Okay. So if the child has got a prescription between -1 to -3 diopter, there are 2.2 times of chances that the kid is going to develop myopic retinal changes, and there is 3.1 times chances of the retina coming out of the eye, which is called the retinal detachment. And there are other challenges like the cataract, glaucoma, etc. So as you see in this slide, the higher the refractive error, the higher the myopia, the higher chances that the kid is going to have both on the myopia, macular degeneration, and on the cataract side. So the management theory is either to reduce the myopia or reduce the onset of myopia or reduce the progression of myopia and try to avoid people developing high myopia. So the moment you cross -5 or -6 diopter of myopia, the chances of getting much more complications are almost 3 times. So what are the treatment modalities or the treatment options what we have? So there are two ways or the two approaches. One, wherever possible, you try to delay the onset. You can treat myopia or you can bring down the myopia once it is developed. But the idea is try to delay the onset of myopia. So how do you do that one? We will cover in the next slide. The other option is that the moment myopia is developed, we need to treat it fully. We need to correct it fully. So delaying onset and effective treatment are the approaches in myopia management. Let's discuss a little more deeper on the management of myopia. So how do we delay the onset of myopia? We know the risk factors now. And once you know the risk factors, what is possible for us? What is possible for us is that one is something which is related with the nature, and second thing is something related with the nurturing. So with related to the nature, we must allow the kids to spend quality time outdoors. So when they exposed to outdoor sunlight, there are a lot of studies which says that the higher light levels or the spectral composition of light and related things, the dioptric topography, there are many factors which helps them to delay the onset of myopia. So allowing kids to spend quality time, at least minimum 2 hours per day outdoor is very essential for delaying the onset of myopia. Also, the way how we nurture the kids, we must tell them to take frequent breaks and go outdoor and get exposed and try to avoid excessive amount of near work. So give them frequent breaks, a limit of the near work, maximum to 2 hours per day with frequent breaks is suggestible. So nature and nurture need to complement well to delay the onset of myopia. And this is very much possible for us to do. When it comes to the myopia treatment modalities, the myopia management, so as I told you earlier that it will not be possible for us to reduce the myopia by giving spectacle lenses or that one, but we will be able to correct it fully. And we also wanted to see whether we can reduce the progression of myopia. So what is the idea behind that one? You can see as per this study, which is reflected in the slide. If we can reduce the progression of myopia, which is the increase of myopia every year by 33%, that means that you can avoid people becoming high myope by 73%. And if you can reduce the myopia progression by 50%, you can support a lot of people, you can help a lot of kids, and up to 90% of the people will not develop high myopia. Now, this is indeed a good news. I told you if the kid has got -5 or -6 diopter or above that, the kids are going to have almost 3 to 4 times of risk of having myopic macular degeneration, retinal detachment, glaucoma, cataract, and much and more complications. So by having this kind of reduction in the progression, we will be able to help them not to become high myopes. So that's the idea. One is to treat fully corrected. The other treatment modality is to reduce the progression of myopia. And today we have much more options to reach both correction as well as reduction in the progression. Next slide. So the solution part is that we must correct, we must identify whether the kid is myopic or not. That's why going for periodic eye examination at least once in a year is a must. And I must thank JAMA Wellness that they have been in this course for quite some time, and we will continue to do that one. So far, we have helped close to 2 lakhs of people to create vision care awareness. So it is very essential for us to get the kids' eyes examined once in a year. You will be able to identify the refractive conditions, then you will be able to intervene, and you will be able to protect and safeguard their visual health for the coming years. So correction, fully correct the myopia, no under correction, no over correction, fully correct. You can seek the help of an ophthalmologist or an optometrist who are the trained professionals to take care of this part. The second one is to reduce the progression of myopia. Now, this requires special lenses. So once you interact with your ophthalmologist or your eye surgeon, eye doctor, or to your optometrist, they will be in the right position to suggest you the right kind of solution based on the capability of the kid and capability of the parents. A solution which is customized, a solution which is designed considering the habits of kids will be the ideal one. And once the refraction is corrected, now it is our responsibility as parents to ensure that a proper follow-up is done. Once the kids wear the spectacle lenses, that's not the end of the story. We need to go for frequent eye checkup. We need to change the power of the spectacle lenses. If the power is going up or down, we need to correct that one. So you need to go to your ophthalmologist or your optometrist on periodic basis and start getting the eye examination. We have options in spectacle lenses, which is the simplest device, and respecting the kids' behavior. We have special spectacle lenses, which is very strong, impact resistant, which is very lightweight as well. And the frames are also much more robust frames are available. So you can ask for this kind of special frames and spectacle lenses with your opticians. And there are special contact lenses. There are medicines like atropine. There are special treatments like orthokeratology. So today, to manage myopia, we have better and better options available. Can we go to this one? Yeah. See, the other challenge which I also wanted to discuss in brief is that as we know that the kid has got a tendency to play with the digital gadgets more and more. So when they play more and more, I told you there's a chance for developing myopia. And the other challenge is that almost all the digital gadgets emits a lot of light, and part of that is the blue light. we were not having enough understanding about the harmful effects of blue light. Thanks to the studies for the past 1 decade, and today we have a clear-cut understanding on the harmful effects of blue light. The blue light, which is emitted from the digital gadgets and sun when they go out, are there is a good part of blue and there is a bad part of blue. So what we call it is a good blue and bad blue. The bad part of blue light, which is closely related with the ultraviolet rays, are responsible for making retinal changes. So once these changes are done in the retina, I told you, we will not be able to repair the changes. So when the kids are spending time in front of the various digital gadgets, we need to have protective gears. So today, thankfully, we have special filtering coatings available in the spectacle lenses, which will filter out the unwanted UV and the unwanted blue light, but filters in the wanted blue and the visible spectrum. So rather than going for a regular spectacle lenses, you need to ask your opticians for the special protective coatings or special spectacle lenses for the kids. Can we go to the next slide? So the more the kids spend on the various digital gadgets, apart from the challenges of getting myopic, the challenges are they are getting exposed to harmful blue light, and the changes in the retina are bound to happen. Especially in the kids, the eyes are not fully developed. So their immune system, their protective mechanism is not in the fully functional status. So we must support them with special protective lenses. Today, we have plenty of options available. So these are the common refractive challenges, and these are the ways to address that one. And we also discussed in depth about the most common refractive errors, myopia and its management. I hope you got a fair amount of idea about the various refractive conditions. And how do we pick the refractive challenges or the visual challenges among kids? It's very simple. Now, these are the 10 steps. All of you can make a note. And if the kids are having any one of these challenges, you can go to the nearest eye care professional and seek their advice. Um, if the child has a tendency to watch TV or holding a book which is pretty close than the normal, that's a time probably you need to take them for an eye checkup, or frequent eye rubbing, squinting of eyes, and severe complaints of tiring of eyes, headache, and they feel that closing one eye or tilting their hand to either side, right side or left side. So all these are the indications that the child is going through with some visual challenges and they need support. The earlier you can detect, the better will be the visual recovery, and they will be able to continue with good vision in their education and other recreational activities. So I feel very happy to come to you on the most important aspects of vision care. It is very important for all of us to know that vision is the most important sense among all the senses what we have, and the quality of vision, the quantity of vision depends on how we take care of our eyes in the early stages of our life. So, and to summarize, we must have preventive measures. We need to have a healthy lifestyle, allowing kids to spend quality time outdoor and reduce the near work and follow a visual hygiene and balanced diet. Balanced diet does not mean that feeding the kids with only green leafy vegetables or carrots. That's a myth. We need to have a fully balanced diet. Uh, some of the parents do tell me that by feeding only vegetables or green leafy vegetables or carrots or eggs, can I get rid of spectacle lenses? No, that's a myth. We need to wear spectacle lenses or the corrective measures as recommended by your eye care professional. But overall development depends on the balanced diet. We also need to identify the refractive condition. So earlier we can identify, the better is going to be the results. So hence the role of eye screening, eye checkup every year is a must. So every kid must go through an eye checkup every year. Whether they have problem or they don't have a problem, you must take them to an eye care professional. It is said that almost 50% of the time, the parents identify the kids are having some challenges, then they go for an eye checkup. And during the regular health checkup, yes, we can pick a lot of challenges which is related to their basic health, and that is also something which need to be addressed. Once we identify, it is a time for us to give them the best treatment solutions possible. So you need to go to your local eye specialist and get the best treatment options done. And also, we must have a close follow up on that one. So let us help more and more kids to have absolute clarity on the vision, both for the external world as well as for the internal world, internal vision as well. Uh, a kid who is going to be an adult for tomorrow, maybe going to become a doctor or engineer or a leader or any other professionals in any spheres of life, they need good quality and quantity of vision. And good quality and quantity of vision depends on how we take care of their eyes today. So thanks for your patient listening, and we would like to see you recommending your kids for a frequent eye checkup and encourage the eye screening programs in your kids' school. Take initiative because more and more kids are going to get benefit out of this. And I would like to thank Germa Wellness for giving me this opportunity. And in Essilor, we believe that improving lives is going to improve. Improving sight is going to improve the lives as well. Thank you.